you may be asking yourself right now, what does 1996 have to do with nostalgia? What does Donna Lewis have to do with nostalgia? Or David Lowe? What do they all have in common? You're going to find out. So hang with us. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. In our first two segments, we revisited the worlds that shaped Donna Lewis and David Lowe, two artists whose music really defined our collective eras and our emotions over those when we look back over those memories, those times in our lives. So now we're going to bring them together to look back with us, but also to look forward. They're doing some really, really great stuff, some really great work together. They're collaborating. We're going to talk about it right now. I am anticipating, like you all will be after you listen to some of the music from the new album, Wanderlust. I'm anticipating that release early 2026. I want you to go to their websites. I'm going to give them out to you here in a little bit. And you can check in, follow them, make sure that you're up to date when the new singles release and the new album. So if I've got my research done right here, Donna Lewis and David Lowe first worked together in 2011 when David produced Donna's song "Follow My Way" for the independent documentary Street Journeys.
Earlier than that, really.
Actually, no, it was earlier than that. Yeah, well,
it was really hard to find when you guys first started collaborating. I really did a deep dive. When was it? Correct me.
It was actually before. It was about 1995, I think, or 4, maybe.
Oh, wow.
And Martin, Donna's husband, was working for a video production company, and he asked me to do some music for him for a particular project. And while we were working on it, he said, "Oh, you must meet my wife. She's a singer-songwriter, you know." And so I said, "Yeah, great," because I was always interested in meeting new people to work with. And came round, met Donna, and it was like, "Whoa, you're so nice, you're so great," and we just like instantly hit it off, because I think we're both very similar in, I think, in a lot of ways, and we just hit it off straight away. We're just like instant friends, and we both had that love of creating, and we both had our little studios, you know, doing the same sort of thing. And so, oh yeah, let's do some things together. And it started there, really. That was before. And actually, Donna played me. Donna played me "I Love You Always Forever," and she said, "Oh, we can't get this right," you know. And I listened to it, and I thought, if you can't get a hit from that, how do you get a hit? Because that is just, to me, it was an instantly amazing song. I was like, wow. And how can you do better than that? And then you said to me, "Well, do you want to have a go at, you know, remixing it or reproducing whatever it was, to see if that'll give it some more energy or whatever it needed?" But in the end, of course, it didn't need anything else. It just needed the right time and place, didn't it? But
so interesting how you feel. Sometimes you record a song, and I kept thinking, "Oh, that's so corny, that chorus, and I'm going to have to try and make it a lot cooler." And I couldn't find anything. But it's funny how you really second guess yourself, and you think, "I got to make it better and better." But
what did you not like about it? What did you think it needed, Donna, at that time?
I think probably because I'd done it myself. I think it's not having confidence in myself.
That's it. Yeah.
That during that time, because I'd always worked in studios with guys, and you know, like they, you know, advised of, you know, what to do and how this should be produced. And I think because I had done this demo myself, I probably just didn't have enough confidence in it, because it was only really when Atlantic wanted to sign me, they actually said, "You know, when you go and record this record, we just want your demos embellished. We don't want them being pulled apart, because what you have is, it works. It just needs to be, you know, embellished a little." So, which was great, and that did give me a bit of confidence. But going back to David, and then he when we got friendly, and then he used to send me certain tracks. He said, "What what do you think of that?" And you were already working on an album, I think, during that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was going, "Oh my god, I love this!" And then I would do my vocals on my little Porter studio, and then we'd get together, and so we did a bunch of songs
Yeah.
in those early days,
In
didn't
those early days, yeah, we did a few tracks, and
we?
which sounded great.
And then the Coca-Cola commercial came up. They asked me when I was with Atlantic, or did you do my second record first? Like, no, yeah, it was,
No, you when you flew off to we'd done things together and we'd done demos together, and then you got your massive hit, and then it was like a fairy tale. They got
yeah,
on the plane to New York and took off, and I thought, oh, I'm never going to see Donna again now. That's it.
I've
That's the end
lost
of
her.
our lovely relationship. And then, hey presto, a year or so later, she thought, Dave, it's Donna. Hi. Oh, I got this Coke commercial. Do you want to work on it? And I was like, oh gosh, yeah, God, fantastic. So Donna came over to the UK, and I helped produce this. The ad for Coke, wasn't it?
you were amazing. We had like one day to do it. I wrote the lyrics on the plane to London, and then I said, Dave, you have to do it. I knew he would just like come through and get it done. And we went to the studio, did it, and then after that, when I started working on the second record, of course, I got David in on a Blue Planet, came to
Yeah,
Ireland where we did the second record, and it was great, wasn't it? It
it
was,
was fantastic. We were in Dublin, in Howth, and you
yeah,
rented this lovely house overlooking the coast and the bay. We had all the studios set up at home with that lovely engineer guy.
yeah, Gus.
Yeah, Gus, yeah, and we just
Tre-
spent yeah, just
Horns,
months, just
yeah, one of Trevor Horn's guys, Steve Fitzmaurice, who went on to
mm,
like really big things. He worked with Sam Smith and loads of people, but he mixed the record, and
mm,
because he gave us some good advice. He says, when you do, if you want to go and do a record in your home, just get some really good gear which you can keep forever.
mm.
And they set us up, and yeah, David, we just worked with John,
Programmed, and yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was really good.
and it was an amazing time.
Mm,
We even started rapping on a track.
I did, yeah.
You feel that in an album? Do you think? Do you feel that like when you work together that well, then when you're enjoying yourself that much, the listener feels it as well, don't they? Can you hear
Yeah,
that?
I think so. I think
Do
you always
people have
put
the
over.
relationship that you two have that
Yeah,
you're enjoying yourself? Yeah.
I think you definitely put over your feeling, in the music. I think it
Yeah,
always comes over. So, and I think a lot of our music is very warm, and I think that's because we just feel
Mhm.
warm, don't we? We just sort of, so,
like very similar. We're very down to earth, and
yeah,
it's all about so after that, and we've always kept in touch. And when David came here, and it was just, should we just get together and just write some stuff? There was no
yeah,
pressure, and it's just easy. It's just so
mm,
nice, like to be working with somebody where you can say what you think about a track. You're not feeling nervous about, oh my god, do you think he's not going to
mm,
like what I'm going to say? And it was, he'd be on the track, working on a track, and then I'd say, oh my god, I've got an idea, I need to throw these vocals down. We'd do
mm,
that, and then David would carry on. Yeah,
yeah. And we just did that over quite a few years, really, didn't we? Just
yeah,
sporadically getting together,
So is
writing a
that
few
why you
more.
describe it as a body of work that's 20 years in the making?
Yeah,
That way,
effectively, yeah,
um,
because it was
you
sort
sort of
of at intervals. We do a few, then we go away for a few years and come back and do a few more.
yeah. I
And
mean, I didn't want listeners to think, oh my God, 20 years in the making is this like astounding, I mean, like this massive
mm,
record or whatever. I think it's just getting together, writing these songs. And I think what we've done with this, we haven't obsessed over it, because I think
No.
us have been in that situation. I know for me, when I'm writing and recording, it's like I get very obsessive where it has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But this sort of has been very organic, wouldn't you say, Dave?
I think so, yeah, definitely. Because we neither of us have felt any pressure over it. And
And even though it might not be like this new one that's coming out in January, I was saying to him the other day when he was mixing it, and I was saying, "Oh my God, there's so much mouth noise on that word for like you're gonna have to take it out." And then after a while, I just thought, "Oh well, what the hell? Let's leave it."
yeah, absolutely. Don't worry about
And
it.
it worked, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I was talking to a musician last week, and they said that what you don't like, what you just described, what someone hears as the artist hears as something that they think of might be a mistake or should be
Mm,
polished, or that is actually the true soul of the song, where you
that's the
find
best
the
bit.
soul.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
so
Yeah.
you took listeners through Fire and Reflection with Burning Man, and
Mm,
then I think Where Is the Love? It's sort of an aching introspective. You guide us through something and guide us to something warmer with Coming Home, with
yeah.
this human, this the human feelings that we can all relate to. Coming Home,
Mm,
is it? It's a song. If I read it right, it's about finding your way back to people who hold your heart. It's a song of
mm,
belonging. How would
it's
you
true.
describe it?
Like, I mean, for me, I just think when you go home, it's like nothing changes. You know, going home for especially for the holidays, or like going back to my parents. Well, my mum now, because I lost my dad a couple of years ago. But going back home where everything is the same,
Mm-hmm.
and it, you know, it's all about you as a family, and
mm,
yeah, just those simple, heartwarming moments, you know, and
yeah.
how love is so important
Mm,
with with each other. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not explaining it
Yeah.
that very well at all,
mm,
Well,
but
to
yeah,
tell you the truth, that description and the song inspired the feeling of nostalgia and the
mm,
theme, I think, of nostalgia for this episode. It's very
mm,
vivid and very relatable, and really sort of inspired that for me.
mm,
And I feel like the world is really hungry for that right now. I've actually seen two or three news articles about people being feeling nostalgic and looking and searching
mm,
uh, for that feeling in some way through music
mm,
or
yeah,
through belongings and or friendships, old friendships. So I think it's really because of everything that's going on right now. It's such a powerful
mm.
song for the time.
I
Um,
think in a way as well, I think there's all the messages we get. I mean, because we're so bombarded with, I mean, news, which is me really. Sorry about that, guys. You're pumping out my music there, but news is by its nature just negative. You know that, and we as human beings, we're just designed to look for okay, what's happening, where's the
yeah.
danger, and that's what news does. And because there's so much of it, we just our brains are frazzled by
yeah,
all this sort of negativity stuff, which is, but that's only like a whatever, 1% of what's actually happening in the world. There's so
Mhm.
much warmth, there's so
Right.
much loveliness out there, you know, and
You
so
have to
that's really,
search that out and
yeah, and
consciously
that's.
go towards that. I think
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a state of we
look
just
for that.
want to generate that lovely state of mind, you know, that warmth, and which we've all got. You know, you can all feel it. It's just there. Yeah.
yeah.
Donna, you've been through so much, and I'm sure you have too, David. I just don't know as much about that, what you go through personally. But the album Wanderlust, Donna, is it more about um, escape, or is it more about arrival for you?
Well, the nice thing about doing this album is that we never really gave it a thought of having like, what is this album going to be about?
Mm-hmm.
We never even thought about that, because we had all these songs and they were just like sat there, and we just felt, I mean, why don't we just put them out in the world? You know, we have this music and we've really loved it. And then when we were like going into each song, we were thinking, well, it really is about that connection, the friendship that we have. And, you know, telling this sort of little story about, you know, we've experienced both, you know, tragic things in our lives, and like we've been through a lot, haven't we, David?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And we've experienced a lot. So there wasn't like a definite theme running through it. Would you say, Dave?
No,
What does it mean?
no. I mean,
Like, you know, not in a long, just quickly, what does it mean to you? What does the album mean to each of you on your own, in your own words?
I think
If there's no theme.
what's really great about it is that like Donna said, we didn't actually have any particular sort of direction or thought in mind about the concept of what it would be all about. But now we've put it all together, it actually has got this direction and concept that it's like, wow, it's actually got this thing of like, you know, it's about going out into the world and exploring and experiencing all of what's out there, the good and the bad. And then it's, you know, the coming back to the warmth at the end of that, you know, and it's a sort of life story in a way. And so, but not by accident, but we've sort of created this thing that actually is saying that, and that's really exciting for me. That it's got a bigger story to it,
Yeah.
and it's infused with our friendship and our love, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
that sort of drives through it all as well.
I mean, for
Yeah.
me, when I wrote Rooms with a View, which was about my breast cancer journey, it was quite interesting with that, because I never meant to write about that. But, you know, writing in my journals, each song became like a little chapter of the story, and and it was just like coming out of me, and it just felt right to sort of have this little moment of this record to document that, because so many people have gone through a similar kind of thing. But this was kind of joyful to sort of
Mm,
write, because,
yeah.
you know, we had all these songs, and then we were putting them all together. And I think it is about both of us have traveled. I live away from Wales, where I was born. And so I have this deep, even though I live here in the States, I
Mm-hmm.
am Welsh through and through.
Mm.
And, you know, we've experienced like various things in our life and this friendship. And, I think all I can say, I think it's been like a joyful little record to
So it's
make.
more of an arrival then.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've said it in a
So,
better way than me.
well, artists, you know, that I talk to often talk about this, like a third thing that appears when collaborators work together, when they really connect, and something, you know, that third thing being something that belongs to neither person.
Mm.
What's the third thing in a Donna Lewis and David Lowe project? Is there that thing that doesn't belong to either one of you as an artist, but manifests itself in the music?
I think it's almost it's not something. Yeah, it is in a way, because it's, I suppose, it's not something that we could do individually on our own. Um,
Yes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I,
you know,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
So it is
sorry.
the result of, it's absolutely the result of us being together. There's no way that I'd come up with that music on my own, and you wouldn't come up
Yes,
with the music on your own. But
yes,
when we come together, this music
Great.
appears, which is like the third thing in a way. So
Mm-hmm.
the yeah.
it's like, you know, I have, as you say, we both have our sort of lanes of music that we're in.
Right.
But
Mm,
the new song we're just going to release in January now, I mean, I would never have written that track, and David probably wouldn't have written my vocals. But it's just this something, this other thing that happens between us that just brings us together. And as I said, this is like probably one of the first records I've ever done where I haven't spent time figuring it out. Do you know what I mean? It really is just like this joyful creation, and
That's the best compliment you could give it,
yes,
isn't it?
And also we're having the freedom, or not being too worried about being a bit more adventurous, let's do that,
yeah,
and just adding crazy beats and being a bit more like daring on that front, whereas before I might not have done that, so it's let's just try that. Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
So that's all been good fun.
I do feel it's interesting, isn't it? But I think sometimes for young artists, and a lot of us have gone through this. Sometimes when we're trying to create a song, we're thinking, "Oh my God, is this going to fit in today? Is this, do I have to write in a certain way?" And I really think when I think about "I Love You Always Forever," I didn't have an idea of what I was doing, and I was experimenting on this keyboard, and I think that's what we've been thinking of with these songs. We just kind of, whatever's in here just comes out, and we're not thinking, okay, this might not fit in any category or whatever, but it's like, who cares? I mean, we
How
just,
does that freedom feel? Is it inspiring?
it
It's
is,
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's a
it's
good
almost
place to
like
be.
how it should, how it should
I
feel. Really, it's like you realize how sort of you get tied up with
yeah,
briefs and things like that, and thinking, oh, it should be this, it should be that, it should be the other, and or for a lot of my career, that's the thought process has been like that. But there have been people that just said, just be yourself, just do what you feel like you want to do, and I've always thought, oh, I can't do that, but with this. It's just been like that, really. It's been great. It's
and
just,
Dave, you've come from a different background than me, because working, doing, um, you know, music for TV and everything, you've had to follow a brief. So
absolutely.
I probably would be terrible at that, but yeah, no, it has been. It's just this freedom,
and
just
maybe another reason why it works so well, the collaboration.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that you bring both of those different perspectives. Well, you both created music that became a part of our lives, of everyday people's lives, in ways that you probably could never have predicted. And I'm curious, did you, with that overnight? I mean, I know it wasn't overnight, but when you had that success, that overnight success, um, did it change? Did success change you at all? I've just got a
no,
couple.
I think it's because I wasn't 18 and I wasn't 21. I was older getting that, and so I think it was a bit like a fairy tale suddenly being thrown into the public eye, and having this successful song. I just think I was at the stage, and probably because I'd already been recording my own music, and I really had a strong vision of um, how I felt that I was suited to this kind of like music that I was doing. I just felt I was just enjoying every moment of it. And I was able then to go into, if people asked me to record with various people, I was mature enough then to say, I don't want to do that, or that's not really who I
Hmm.
am, or wearing. I remember doing my first TV show, and the stylist comes in with all the clothes, and I had hair and makeup in the hotel at 3 in the morning. And I remember getting to the studio thinking, oh my God, I don't look like me. And I took all the makeup off, all the hair, straightened my hair, and I said in a nice way to the stylist, I said, I just want to wear my own clothes for this show, because I think I just knew myself by
Yeah.
then.
Mm,
So,
So
so that's interesting because you had your own footing. You were sure of yourself. It wasn't
yes,
like
mm,
you enjoyed it, all of the success, but you weren't misled and pulled into a million different directions where you knew yourself. You knew what you wanted and who you were as an artist.
And
That's
you
interesting.
still got things,
Yeah, what did you buy?
off
What's
in
the
the
first thing?
label saying,
I want to know what the first thing both of you bought when you got your first big check.
Ooh.
What was like? What was success? Like, what was the thing you had to have?
I bought my little grand piano, which is here
Did
in
you
the
still have it?
I
Oh,
still
that's
have
cool.
it, and I shipped
That's
that
a
to David
wise
from
purchase.
Ireland. Yes, that was when I had a chunk of. I mean, and also I bought my dad a car. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
great.
Yeah.
David, what did you
Well,
get?
I always wanted to. I never actually lived in London full time, but I always had this yearning to sort of experience living in London, and um, and then we thought about getting a flat in London at one point, and then we thought, if we're going to get a flat in London, it's got to be smack bang in the middle, right bang in the middle, and we didn't have the money
High
sort of
rent.
to do that.
Yeah.
And then, so that was my when my single was a success, and then that was okay. Let's get a flat in the middle of London, and that's what, and we still got it. We still got that flat. So
I think both of you made wise choices. You didn't just go below the money. You had real goals, the real things that you
mm,
wanted. I asked that question. I'm sorry if it's personal, but I asked because so many artists, dream of that day that when they get that first
mm.
royalty check or get signed. And I just thought it'd be interesting. Thank you for answering it honestly. But I think
It's
they're
like
both.
actually, it's quite interesting about that in a way because all the way through. Well, I've never really thought about the money to be honest. Or at that point, I wasn't with my single when it was. I didn't think or the BBC News or anything. The money side of it never crossed. The thing is, it's the music that you're thinking about,
Mhm.
and wow, people are loving. Oh, it's out there. And then the money was almost like, oh, what you mean you get money for it as well? And that was always been for me, like you get paid for it as well. And I remember with the single, some guy was when it came out. I was chatting to a publisher or something, and he said, "Do you know how much money you're going to earn from this?" And I said, "No, I haven't really thought about it." And he sort of got this beer mat and started jotting down all these things, and I was going, "What? You're joking?" So
Let's
it
get
was
a
a, it
bigger
was
apartment.
it was a real surprise.
It's so true. I was the same.
Mm.
I never even thought about it. And I think we were so lucky. I think living and having that success during that time, because I do feel for young singer songwriters
Mm.
coming out now with streaming and everything. It's like how do you
Mm.
make a living?
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
we're quite lucky, really.
Mm.
Yeah. And those times, I think maybe you haven't answered this, but what is your fondest memory of those times? And David, you had mentioned earlier it was the excitement with playing with new instruments and new technology. But aside from that, personally, what were those times like? If you guys can remember in the '90s and the mid '90s, and what was life like? What were the
I mean,
friendships
for
and
me, one of the things that I always remember vividly was, when I wrote "I Love You Always Forever," I was walking through the streets of Birmingham where I was living, and I had this idea in my head. I thought to myself, because I was doing piano bars, and I thought, sometimes playing to one or two people that you think they're the only two people listening to me. It does make you a little harder. And I used to think, I wonder what it's like being on a stage and you open a song and everybody knows it. And I wrote, when I got to my husband's office, I wrote on a scrap of paper a manuscript lines, and I just wrote the melody of "Feels Like I'm Standing."
Mm.
And I wrote that melody out, and I came back home and wrote the song. And so I always remember getting on stage for the very first time over here, and it was at the Chance, Poughkeepsie, a small club. And I didn't think anybody knew me. It was a radio show, so a few people on. I go on, and I started the song, and everybody started singing the song for the
Wow.
oh wow,
remember that as like, oh my God, like my manager was crying. 'Cause it was
Ah,
That's a good story. I
so,
love that.
yeah.
and then and so it was a magical moment that I
Mm.
Mm,
remember that.
And I imagine
yeah.
as you went along in stadiums, people were singing this back to you.
Yeah. I mean,
Was that more?
Mm,
Was this small club more special than the big 10,000
absolutely.
people
And there
singing
was
your song at you?
Yeah, and there was one
mm,
thing in Chicago we did. Again, we did a lot of radio shows in those days to start with, and it was very much an R&B show. And I remember Martin saying to the label, "I'm a bit concerned of Donna going on stage because this is like an R&B thing. Like, what on earth is like?" She's going to be crucified, when it was like that. But again, like going on stage and the opening of the song, and like everybody singing it with me. It's an amazing thing,
mm.
you know.
It is.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Can
it
I
was
tell you a quick story before you tell your story,
sure.
David? I, you, do you both of you, do you, when you're thinking sometimes you're just in a moment, does a song lyric pop in your head from a pop song or from one of your favorite songs? Do you like, if you're in an experience, does a
Mm.
line pop in your head? Does that happen to either of you?
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, like almost like
It-
defining the moment.
yeah, it's melodies for me as well. It's like I mean, I'm always it's almost like you're finishing people's sentence with a
Hmm.
bit of music
Right.
somehow. You sort of like
Exactly. Exactly.
it's always
You got
popping
it.
in. Yeah.
So that
So yeah,
happens
that
to me
happens
a
to me a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
And when this is my quick story for Donna, when I'm thinking about somebody that I care about or I love, or we're having a conversation and it's going really well, and we're vibing, your line pops in my head. It's a true story. A lot. Like over the
Wow.
years,
Mm,
like out of nowhere. Like I haven't heard the song for years, but that line, you know, pops
Wow.
in my
mm,
head as like what David said, like finishes a sentence in my mind.
mm.
Anyway,
It's
I,
Amazing.
brilliant.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah. Love
Uh,
it.
so David, what do you remember about the '90s or that time? Was there
I think
a feeling?
I thought, yeah, I mean, I think it was an amazing time. Generally, the '90s. I just remember being, um, because the very start of the '90s was when I started doing music full time, and we got this big advert for British Airways, which completely came out of the blue again in a way, and we were flown to Los Angeles to Hollywood to record it, and it was like, oh my God. And so that was the start. That
Made
was
it.
in about 1992, and that was the start of full-time music. Then there was no time to do anything else because we got so much work from doing that, and so I just remember the '90s as being really like, wow, I'm now a composer, and I couldn't quite believe it. I was doing music full time, and it was just a build up of all that creative, again, all those ideas and the technology and all that happening. But the most one of the most exciting moments for me was when my single came out. Well, there were lots of. It was just the excitement. I've never had that feeling about anything else really. When it's people are buying it, you can't believe it. You get this real buzz inside. It's incredible. And I remember the day it came out. We were on holiday in Wales and in this sort of in Pembrokeshire, which is quite a remote place, and there was this little town on the way back, and it had a Woolworths, and Woolworths had bought like 250,000 copies of my single. I was like, oh my God, to sell, and there were the boxes flying out of distributors. They couldn't get enough out there, and so. So let's stop in Woolworths and see if anybody's buying it, and this tiny little Welsh town. And so we went, and there was the Woolworths, and I thought, oh, it's going to be like one person, and you'll have to hunt for it on the shelves. And I got there, and it was the whole shop window was like about this massive
Oh
display of
wow!
would you touch and go, and there were like people standing in the queue, with copies of it in their hands, and I was like, hi, Hi, that's me.
Did you
Yeah,
actually say,
it
"Do you
was
know who I
incredible.
am"?
No, I just thought they just wanted to believe me, but so I just bought a copy as well, you know. But so that was amazing. And also, I mean, it's probably the same for Donna as well. But when you get in the car and you put your radio on and your songs on the
Yeah.
radio,
Comes
that
on.
is that's just incredible. That is literally it's on there when you switch the radio on. That is
I
amazing.
imagine that's got to just be so cool. Such a neat experience. I love
Yeah.
those stories. All right, so let's talk about Wanderlust. It's due out early next year. It's would you describe it as like a meditation on connection, or a album that has? I know it doesn't have a theme, and it's a love and collaboration over the years that's come together to make this great album that you're going to put out there to the world again. But we talked about it has songs that kind of interweave the threads that bind us, distances that we cross, the courage it takes to reopen the heart. And Donna, again, I know that these themes carry a profound weight, a personal weight for you. Your journey, again, through breast cancer reshaped your life and your voice and your purpose. Um, Inspiring advocacy and community work, um, and your deeply moving album Rooms with a View, which I encourage everybody to take a listen to. It's a narration, as you've described, of that experience. When you received the diagnosis of breast cancer, what was your first thought? Were you angry?
I was just so like shocked and like scared. It's a horrible feeling having that diagnosis because you think, oh my God, am I gonna die? Like, am I gonna be here for my
Right.
son? And and I think it's the fear of the unknown. And I always tell people when people have talked to me when they found out that they have breast cancer, and I was a mess in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people it's as soon as you have your plan of action as to what treatment you're going to do and your doctors and where you're going to go, you just get on with it. And it's a very interesting thing, so that first part is it's all fear and
Mm-hmm.
scared, that I didn't know what to expect, like, and thinking, oh my God, am I going to lose my hair, all this kind of thing. And then I think, once you're on the roller coaster of chemo and radiation and the surgery. I mean, basically, it's a year. Well, for me, it was a year out of my life. My oncologist said, you're not going to be able to go out and like perform songs. You're just gonna. It's a year out of your life because when you're going through chemo, I mean, you don't want to be with
Mm-hmm.
too many people for fear of infection and getting sick, and then you can't continue your treatment. Um, so it was an interesting time, and of course, it changed me big time. But I think writing all these thoughts down of what I was going through, to be honest, music really um, was my therapy. Because when Holmes, out of the blue, so interesting, he'd done a remix of one of my songs, "I Told You So," and he just out of the blue sent me a few tracks. And he said, "Do you fancy collaborating on any of these?" And the first one I played, and I just happened to have my journal open for the when I was talking about cancer being a messenger, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is so dark and this is so perfect. And then I was on a roll, and to be honest, it was on the fourth song I said to Holmes, I just got to tell you something. This is all about my journey of breast cancer, because he didn't know I was going through any of it. And I said, do you mind that it's all about that? And he was cool about it. But so it changed me, and I think I've come out of it feeling, with my music, it really isn't about, we all want people to hear our music. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's always lovely to have success. However, I just feel I'm blessed that I'm still alive, and I get to make music, and I
Yeah.
get to work with people like Dave, and it's a joy. And
And you've taken that lesson, the lessons you learned and what you went through, and now you're an inspiration for others. And um,
Because it's like some people are worse off than me,
mhm.
and but it's it's a very tough one. I've known people that haven't made it, and it's a tricky one. It's like it's a crazy time, and so all we can do is spread awareness. And I feel that record, that I made might help people because they can relate to it. Um, and as I say, it changes you. So for me to do this record with Dave, Wanderlust is all about our journeys and our
Mhm.
friendship, the love and
Mhm.
family,
Mhm.
strength we have from all the things we've both gone through.
Mhm.
It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Do you think you
Mhm.
sing from a different place now?
Do you think I sing from a different
Yeah.
place?
Do you feel like you sing from a different place now after that experience?
Um,
Are you more joyful?
I'm
Or are you
probably,
more
yes. I think I'm
hopeful?
just not as obsessed
Yeah.
because
Okay.
Mhm.
the old days, it's like this obsession of everything being perfect, every vocal like to be like perfection down to the last breath. And now it's like I'm very okay, the hell, just let's just leave that.
Mhm.
And again, like we look at this record, and there's moments when I hear some of the things that I've done, and maybe David's the same, and I think, well, that's not really perfect. I could do that better. But it's kind of empowering to feel
Mhm.
just made this music, and we're just going to put it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
a time. It was a moment
Mm.
in time, and let's not get too crazy
Worried about.
about it.
Yeah.
What did home mean? You may have already answered this, but what did the word home mean when you wrote coming home?
I think it means. I mean, it's just for a lot of people. Obviously, that idea of home is a different for everybody, really. But I think it's the secure place for
Yes.
whether you're on your own and you're coming back to your secure place, wherever you are in the world.
Whatever home is
Um,
to you.
whatever home is for you, it's just coming back to that root or back to that security, and sort of, yeah, comfort, warmth, um, solidity.
Somewhere like I think for
Commit.
people that are alone and are going through terrible things in their lives, it's like it's not like home, like a family home. Although to me, it is, but I
Mm,
think it can mean a lot of different things. It's just coming back to a place, as David says, where you feel secure. You can be yourself. You don't have to put on any. You
mm,
don't have to pretend about anything. You can be open, and somewhere safe to be.
mm,
Hmm.
Because David, you came up with that idea. I remember
mm,
you saying, I think we should write something about coming home. I don't know where you got that from. And then I just started.
mm,
For me, I was picturing me going home to Wales and seeing the lights, going over the Severn Bridge, going from England
mm,
to Wales, and like, you know, that kind of thing. And those times of getting together with family where you're sharing old
mm,
funny stories and reminiscing, really.
mm.
Where
Yeah.
I love that. Where is home for you, David?
Where's home for me?
Yeah, I love that memory or that thought of home that Donna
Well,
had.
yeah, I mean that it's the same for me, really. But I mean, I suppose home's changed for me sort of over the years, really. But it was obviously home was your mum and dad to start with, and now I think home's more people coming to our home. This home here is home, and my daughter comes, and my grandson comes to here now, so they're coming home to me. So you've sort of
You've switched it.
Yeah,
switched it all around, and
you've become home for others now.
yeah, you become home, yeah, and but it's and for me, it is that lovely feeling of just people just coming, yeah, coming back home. It's just something really nice about that.
Is there a moment in Wanderlust where Donna, where David pushed you into an entirely new musical territory or creative territory? And the same question then for David: did Donna push you somewhere uh, in this project?
I think, interestingly, I think. Well, do you want to answer that first,
So
Donna?
you
I think yeah. You went. I pushed you without you knowing I was doing it, didn't you? So you ended up being in a different territory because you'd start. Donna would start a song and then
oh yes.
send me a song with the vocal and a track, and then I basically lifted the vocal off and put a completely different like "Where Is the Love," for example.
Yes.
It was quite a soft song when Donna sent it to me originally, so I sort of stripped it off, and again I thought, oh, I'm just going to do this, you know. I just went crazy and added all the sort of like house beats and really sort of edgy, you know, sort of dancey, gritty stuff underneath it, which was a sort of contrast to Donna's vocal.
What
So it
song
was
is that?
taking Donna into a place that
That
you
was
wouldn't
what,
have been.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was Where Is the Love?
Where is the
And
love?
yeah,
it was this like little sort of little road soft piano part with my vocals, and then and then he sends it back, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this? So, but you know, it was great. Um,
yeah. And we got another track that is going to come out soon, which we've done the same thing, haven't we? So which is good. It's this massive drum and bass track now with this screaming big
oh
bass on it. It's
God,
like,
it's like yeah, that's so unusual for me, yeah, too, because I
yeah,
found this thing that I'd done, and I just sent him. Did I just send you the vocal, or I sent you the track, and I said just take the
yeah.
vocal, and oh my God, he sent it back, and it was just crazy, but like really amazing. It was like this like hard edge. The bass is incredible. So yeah,
Yeah.
there've been some things that oh my God, is that the you know what is that? Nothing's kind of like
Did, did, uh, did you push David in any way that he doesn't know about creatively, or to get something,
you
a
know,
sound or something you wanted?
I think the way it works sometimes, even with coming home, to be honest, like we struggled a little bit. Like we had the essence of the song,
Mm.
and then David would do a track, and then I kept saying to him, it's just it doesn't sound right.
No.
Don't know what's wrong with it, and
Mm.
so so I did like, let's try this, let's try that. I mean, even the new song "Meet Me," we were working on that the other day, and I'll just come up with some crazy idea, and sometimes it
Mm.
works, sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't. But this last one really worked, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
How will Wanderlust fit in your discography, each of your discographies or your catalogs, and how will it mark as a milestone or a certain time in your life that eventually you'll look back at this with nostalgia, and but it's a new project, and how do you think it will mark your careers, your life?
well, I think for me, I think it's kind of started a thing with us that I think we're always going to do stuff together
Mm.
on, because I think both of us work so well together. And it might be that, you know, David might, I mean, he's always working on various projects, and you know, I've got my 30th year anniversary next year, so I might do. Hopefully, we're going to be doing some shows with those songs. But I think it's just it started a thing with us. I don't think we'll stop
So,
No.
working.
although
I'd say in a way for me it's almost like the most authentic thing I've ever I know that sounds a bit crazy, but because everything else by and large has been to a brief or whatever, or it's been even my touch and go record that was a hit was it was almost like a brief from the record label. Like, let's do a Latin dance track, you know. So and the album that I did with them before was let's do a world music sort of thing. So it was almost like a brief, working to a brief. Whereas this has just been completely free, which is like how everybody, how like genuine, if you're doing an album, that's the way you should be doing it, really. So for me, it's like this, wow, I've finally done something that's just completely like what you want to do
Oh,
without any grief or pressure or anything. So in a way, it's for me, it's like the most authentic thing I've done. And also, like you say, without worrying too much about oh, is it okay? Is it this, that, and the other, and just being a bit more free and easy about it.
so
It's not, for me, I like to be like, not a lot of people, like some people just only know me for I Love You Always Forever. And I feel, oh my God, you like, I feel I'm quite a diverse writer.
mhm.
For me, it's so nice to be able to do, maybe I'll do like a piano vocal record at some point. Well, for Rooms with a View, I did a spoken word version and a piano and a acoustic piano vocal. But I like being able to sort of, maybe the next stuff we do is like very like clubby. I mean, I don't
Mm.
know. Or,
I like that.
but I just like to have the freedom just to do whatever I kind of feel like doing, really.
Mm.
So it's authentic, and it sounds like it's a beginning. One,
Yeah,
Mm. I think it is, yeah.
yeah,
like a beginning, and
And
it's
also because it's a time of life really where the pressure's off in a way anyway. So you think, oh, let's just, what the heck, let's just go for it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
good.
You're
Yeah.
at a point in your life where you have more freedom, and you
Yeah,
can experiment. You've paid your dues, and
absolutely. Yeah.
well,
yeah.
my special guests today, artists Donna Lewis and David Lowe, each have amazing creative careers that have touched millions. They've discovered each other in the process and have found a shared creative language that's just beginning. You heard it here first. A language of vulnerability, introspection, and real emotional truth. Together, Donna Lewis and David Lowe have crafted a body of work that feels both intimate and expansive. It's a soundtrack to what it really means to feel and reconnect. The new single, Coming Home, again from platinum selling Welsh superstar Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever, and so much more. She is so much more. Take a listen. And David Lowe, Touch and Go, and the BBC theme. After taking listeners through Fire and Reflection, again with Burning Man and Where is the Love, the artists now bring us back to warmth and peace and human connection with the single Coming Home, which we're about to play right now in its entirety. Coming Home serves as the emotional centerpiece of Wanderlust, a record that celebrates connection, reflection, and the enduring beauty of human relationships. Look for Wanderlust this spring and go to donnalewis.com for more and to follow her on all her socials and see where she's performing and as new music drops. Also, you can go to davidlowemusic.com. It's spelled DAVIDLOWE music.com. Again, Wanderlust. It's out early next year. And the 30th anniversary of Donna's hit song, I Love You Always Forever, is in 2026. Sounds like you might be performing, Donna, taking that on the road.
Plans, yes. And so, better get my arse into gear. So there are plans, but hopefully, let's hope that it all happens. Yes.
Well, I thank both of you for spending time with me today. This was really a lot of fun, and I got to know a lot about you. And I want to dig in deeper with any of your older music and new music, and look at your catalogs. You've just got a great body of work, both of you, and you're both great people. That's even cooler. Congratulations on the new single. And in just a second here, I'm going to play Coming Home. I just wanted a real quick show note. The Jeremiah Show airs Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Radio Evolve. It rocks in Santa Barbara. Tune in and listen more and evolve. And get ready to level up your Fridays, because Fabulous Fridays is coming to the Jeremiah Show. Every week, Hollywood's gifting guru, Lash Ferry, he's the mastermind behind the entertainment industry's most coveted swag bags. He joins us for fun, 10-minute hit of beauty, wellness, and luxury lifestyle trends. He does the swag bags for the Grammys, for the Oscars, for the Country Music Awards, and all the other awards show in between. Lash is really cool. So what's hot, what's next, what's inside Hollywood's hottest gift bags? Lash spills it every Friday and shows you how to live just a little bit more. Fabulash. Don't miss Fabulash Fridays, only on the Jeremiah Show. And one last thing here, big news from our own Hollywood Composers Series executive producer, Carol Connors. She's just earned her second career Grammy nomination for her audiobook, Elvis, Rocky, and Me. Produced by Carol and the 2025 Grammy winner David Longoria, who's on the Jeremiah Show next week, and narrated by Kathy Garber from The Family Affair. The audiobook shot to number 4 on Amazon's bestseller list earlier this year. And the story doesn't stop there. A full documentary film is on the way in 2026, and you can find Elvis, Rocky, and Me now on Amazon and Audible. And if you're a Grammy voter, please consider supporting this extraordinary, heartfelt project and Carol Connor. She's amazing. Okay, you've waited long enough. I've teased you long enough. Here it is, Coming Home by Donna Lewis and David Lowe off the album Wanderlust in 2026. Thank you guys for being here.
Pleasure. Absolutely loved it.
Yes.
All right. Communicate, but listen more and evolve. Everybody have a great week. Here is Coming Home.